people dead after unrest on Capitol Hill.
All I can say is count me out. Enough is enough. I've tried to be helpful.
Overnight, lawmakers reconvened and certified President-elect Biden's win, and Secret Service ramping up security at the White House after pro-Trump rioters breached the Capitol. While D.C. is hours away from the Carolinas, leaders in both states are trying to figure out where does the nation go from here. WBTV at 4:30 starts right now.
This broadcast is sponsored by DeMayo Law Offices. Live from Charlotte, this is WBTV News on your side.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on this Thursday. We will get to those stories in just a moment. I'm Abby Tedros.
And a meteorologist, Al Conklin.
So first, there is a first alert in place. We do want to start with that. So let's go ahead and take a look at futurecast storms heading our way, winter storms. And some counties are now under a winter storm warning. So we do want to check in with First Alert meteorologist Al Conklin, tracking it all for us. So, Al, what is the latest?
Yeah, what's changed during the overnight hours, Abby, is that, as you mentioned, several of our counties that were under a watch are now under a warning. In fact, you just saw it right there in front of your eyes. All the counties that you now see in pink are under a winter storm warning. Winter storm watch continues for the I-40 corridor. That includes Iredell County down into southern Burke and into Catawba. South of there, including Lincoln, Gaston, Cleveland, into Cabarrus, Rowan, Mecklenburg. Nothing yet, but we'll likely see an advisory in time as the storm system is making its approach from the west. Again, we're high and dry for today. We'll start with sunshine and with more clouds, but again, you'll notice this system spitting up out here now over Arkansas, and that's going to be heading in our direction. So again, mainly clear skies out there this morning, and it's cold. Temperatures are down into the 30s yet again. We're now at 34 here in Charlotte, 28 Wadesboro, over towards Chesterfield, 28 in Statesville, 24 Morganton, and 27 in Shelby. For today, a gradual increase in cloud cover. We'll start off partly to mostly sunny, wind up fairly cloudy. The high temperature right around 50 degrees. Make no mistake about it. Storm system is coming in our direction, and we do have that first alert. We will break down what you can get in your neighborhood. Looking ahead to the weekend as well in just a few minutes, Abby.
Breaking news, Congress has certified Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as president and vice president-elect. The count finished at 3:39 this morning. The final results were 306 to 232 for Biden. Vice President Mike Pence made the official announcement just after 3:40 this morning. Also breaking overnight, President Donald Trump now says there will be an orderly transfer of power. In a statement tweeted by the White House social media director, Dan Scavino, he said, "Even though I totally disagree with the outcome of the election and the facts bear with me, nevertheless, there will be an orderly transition on January 20th. And I have always said we would continue our fight to ensure that only legal votes were counted. While this represents the end of the greatest first term in presidential history, it's only the beginning of our fight to make America great again." Now, the president himself could not tweet this out because his account has been locked by Twitter. Now, it took Congress nearly 12 hours to finish its count of electoral votes. Earlier, mobs of the president's supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol building to protest the election's results. Natalie Brand is on Capitol Hill with more.
The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Joseph R. Biden, Jr. of the state of Delaware has received 306 votes. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 232 votes.
In the early hours of Thursday morning, the joint session of Congress affirmed President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris's Electoral College win after defeating objections to Arizona and Pennsylvania's votes.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are lawfully elected and will become the president and the vice president of the United States on January the 20th.
It's past time to accept reality, to reaffirm our democracy, and move on.
Earlier, rioters stormed the building, breaking through doors and busting windows. Capitol Police drew their weapons at one barricaded door from inside the House.
You have to go home now.
President Trump posted a video that has since been removed from Facebook and Twitter, urging calm. Hours earlier, he addressed a gathering near the White House.
We will never give up. We will never concede.
President-elect Joe Biden also addressed the chaos here, calling it an assault on democracy and an insurrection.
Today's reminder, a painful one, that democracy is fragile, and to preserve it requires people of goodwill leaders with the courage to stand up.
In response to the day's chaos, several Democratic lawmakers are now calling for President Trump to be removed from office. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, the mayor of D.C. said at a news conference more than 50 arrests were made. She also said 2 pipe bombs were recovered along with Molotov cocktails. She has extended a public emergency order for D.C. for the next 15 days through the inauguration. Vice President Mike Pence played a key role in sending the National Guard to help stop Wednesday's violence on Capitol Hill. That's according to a source familiar with this decision. The source says President Trump initially resisted involving Guard members, but Pence went ahead to coordinate the deployment with the Pentagon and speed up this process. A statement by Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller even suggests that Pence gave the final go-ahead. Now, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are talking directly with millions of Americans this morning. WBTV's Alex Giles has more from members of Congress from the Carolinas.
As a violent mob of President Trump's supporters paraded through the U.S. Capitol, members of Congress were ushered to safety. North Carolina Congresswoman Alma Adams, a Democrat, shared a photo of herself giving the thumbs up on social media. She spoke to our Dedrick Russell over the phone.
It was a very scary and emotional moment. There were shots fired in the chamber. Actually, these protesters they kind of took over the whole building.
Congressman Ted Budd, a Republican from North Carolina, shared a video of himself condemning the riots, but maintaining that he'd object to the election certification.
Mob rule is not representative of our country. That is not how we do things. On the House floor, my objections still stand, and when we disagree, we move to debate, and that's what today was about.
Adams says she places the blame for Wednesday's violence on President Donald Trump.
I think the President of the United States owes the country an apology because he incited this riot.
Other lawmakers, both Republicans and Democrats, placed blame at the president's feet as well. Senator Richard Burr, a Republican from North Carolina, issued a statement saying in part, quote, "The president bears responsibility for today's events by promoting the unfounded conspiracy theories that have led to this point. It is past time to accept the will of American voters and to allow our nation to move forward." Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina also condemned the violence. Late Wednesday night, he tweeted, "I prayed Joe Biden would lose. He won. He's the legitimate president of the United States."
One more. South Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn said this: "I have faced violent hatred before. I was not deterred then, and I will not be deterred now. Congress will continue the business of certifying the Electoral College votes." And in South Carolina, Republican Governor Henry McMaster tweeted this, saying in part, "Protest is honored, but violence cannot be tolerated. The rule of law must prevail." North Carolina's Democratic Governor Roy Cooper also tweeting. He said, quote, "Today's terrorism is not who we are. This attack on our country must be overcome. America is better than this." And we've gathered statements from lawmakers from all over our area. You can read those by heading over to our website, WBTV.com. Charlotte-Mecklenburg police say that they are monitoring the situation in Washington. The department says there is no information indicating any protests here in Charlotte, but they will commit appropriate staffing and resources to any events should they unfold. Now, while the chaos was happening at the Capitol, we did learn both Democrats in the Senate runoff elections in Georgia are the projected winners. CBS News projected Raphael Warnock beat out Republican incumbent Kelly Loeffler. Hours later, they projected John Ossoff defeated Republican incumbent David Perdue in the other seat that was up for grabs. This now makes the Senate 50-50, 50 Democrats, 50 Republicans. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will become the tie-breaking vote. And we are following 2 breaking scenes right now out of Salisbury. Police say that they are investigating a homicide on East Bank Street. We are told a 33-year-old man dead after a woman tried to rob him and others inside of an apartment. Also in Salisbury, about 4 miles away from that scene, police are investigating a suspicious fire at a law firm on North Main Street. We are told arson investigators also on scene. Firefighters responded to the fire at Whitley and Jordan Law Firm just after 2 o'clock this morning. Officials say they contained the fire to 2 offices downstairs. They say there's smoke, heat, and water damage throughout the building. No word on what caused the fire, but of course, we will continue to monitor this story for you and bring you the latest as that develops. Coming up next, the stimulus checks are rolling out, but some people are having to wait on theirs. We are breaking down what you should do if you haven't received yours yet.